Hi there, welcome to What? And Series 16, number 21, verse 50 through to 52 tells us that Joseph's two sons and Joseph's state of heart. And to Joseph were born two sons before the years of famine came, whom Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar, priest of On, bore to him. Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh. For God has made me forget all my toil and all my father's house. The name of the second he called Ephraim. For God has caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. Even the names are significant to the journey that Joseph's been on. Notice it says there that Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh. From his Egyptian wife, Joseph fathered Manasseh, whose name means kind of like forgetfulness. This is because God made Joseph to forget the previous pain and trial of his life. His second son, Ephraim, which means fruitfulness, because God made Joseph fruitful in Egypt. God's people can't doubt the fruitfulness that they have. And they can't also forget that they are to forget what's gone in the past. In his book, The Great Divorce, C.S. Lewis described hell as a place where no one forgets anything, remembering every slight, every cruel exchange of words, every wrong ever done, and everybody is utterly unforgiving. But in heaven, all these things are put away because all things have become new. For God has made me forget. That's the term used in that passage. For God caused me to be fruitful. Joseph did not forget the faith of his fathers, even though he rose to great glory in Egypt and had an Egyptian wife. As a sign of this, his children were given Hebrew names, not Egyptian names. The 7 years of famine begin, and we look at verses 53 through 57 of chapter 41. Then the 7 years of plenty which were in the land of Egypt ended, and the 7 years of famine began to come. And Joseph had said, the famine was on all the lands, but in all of the lands of Egypt there was bread. So when all of the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread. And then Pharaoh said to all the Egyptians, go to Joseph, whatever he says to you, do it. The famine was over all the face of the earth, and Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold to the Egyptians. The famine became so severe in the land of Egypt, so all of the countries came to Joseph in Egypt to buy grain because the famine was so severe in all the lands. Now, the famine was in all the lands. Now, if you look at the map of all of that, that means it's everything around it, right down to Egypt, probably right up past Lebanon, etc. And in the land of Egypt, there was enough stored grain to make bread to keep people alive because of Joseph's wise preparation. Egypt became the supply source for the whole region, which had suffered so much under this famine. So all the countries came to Joseph in Egypt to buy grain. The people of Canaan, including Joseph's family, which we'll talk about in the coming weeks, also suffered from famine. But God made wise, though unexpected, provision for them by sending Joseph ahead of the family. And we know that all things work together for the good of those who love God and for those who are called according to his purpose. We know that from Romans chapter 8 and verses 28. Joseph didn't have the Romans 28 on paper, but he experienced it and he had it in his heart. A Christian today may very well have it on paper, but not in his heart. This is one of the messages and one of the lessons that we learn from Joseph. We need to look at this story and then take it on board and say, how does that impact us? Over the coming weeks, we're going to be looking at how God used Joseph in a strange place to be able to care for his chosen people. And that's where we're heading next. Bless you.